450 years ago, a tiny acorn. Hi guys, it's Pondwater Pete here again with another natural wonder. I'm standing here currently in Granby, Connecticut, underneath what very well might be the oldest oak tree in New England. This is the Dewey Granby oak tree. It's a beautiful white oak. It's been standing here since before the Constitution was written, before some colonies were even established. It's a magnificent creature spanning generations of human life. Standing here solid as a stone in this one spot, forever watching over us. It's a magical thing, really. You can see the growth on this thing. To put it in perspective, I can't even get a full shot of the tree on this camera right now. We're currently standing underneath its main trunk, but some of the branches actually extend hundreds of feet out on the ground around it. Over here you can see one of the branches. It's approximated to be around 130 feet long. The intense weight of its sheer mass has actually brought it down into the ground. Over here we can see some plant life is actually emerging out of one of the branches. We're going to get a little bit closer here and examine some of the natural life forms that actually coexist on this plant. We're sitting next to what appears to be a plant that's actually started to grow out from one of the holes in one of the old wood growths on this tree. If you look inside, I can actually see some soil that's actually built its way up inside. What's interesting to know is that oak trees are like an ecosystem in and of themselves. Some oak trees have been known to contain over 300 species of insect and 300 species of different small plants. So beautiful. You guys, you know what? This tree is magnificent, really. Wow, guys, this is just really incredible. What I'm looking at right now is a piece of the dead wood that's actually decomposed on the interior, providing a perfect little haven for these other organisms to exist. There's probably countless species of plant and insect living in this trunk alone. Some oak trees have been known to have over 300 different species of insect living on them at any given moment. This is just a pure miracle of life right here. There's so many fascinating things to be learned from the oak tree. The majestic oak is one of my favorite trees of all time. Guys, we've just stumbled upon something really fascinating on one of these branches. As you can see here, it looks like at one point the branch began to grow towards this stone on the ground. But then the tree could sense that there was an obstacle here preventing it from growing further. So it decided to actually force itself to grow back up towards the sun here. It's very fascinating. Trees are very in touch with the ecosystem around them, and even though they don't have ears and eyes like us, they can still sense the world around. There's actually a network of roots beneath me that probably span outward at least 90 meters in any given direction. The tree is constantly communicating with the organisms in the mycelium below us right now. It's certainly just an entire self-sustained ecosystem in itself. So we've been walking around this tree for a little bit now, trying to find an acorn that maybe have fallen off this tree. Unfortunately, it appears that this year the tree didn't produce any acorns of its own. It's actually interesting. Most oak trees don't produce acorns every year, and sometimes they produce them once every 2 to 3 years. Oh, shit. Now, if we can find a sapling around here, maybe, it'd be really interesting to see, because it's definitely coming from this tree behind me. Only about 1 in every 10,000 acorns will ever make it to be the size of this tree here. It's really an incredible thing, and it's something to be cherished, for sure. Sorry about the bugs again, but it's just so worth it to be standing right next to the glory of this tree behind me. Guys, I'm looking at a section of the branch here, and you can actually see the bark exposed a little bit from where a branch used to exist. And now what this shows us is actually the bark is extremely thick, and in some places on the tree can be over 1 inch thick. Guys, what we're looking at here is some evidence from ancient history here. This stress fracture goes up all the way the length of the main trunk of the tree. And if you actually look at the top, there appears to be a dead branch causing this amount of fracturing going on. Now, it could be caused by many things: disease, damage, even a lightning storm hundreds of years ago could have struck that very branch and caused this scene. We don't really know for sure. Only the Dewey Granby tree really knows. It's very interesting. Oak trees are one of the tallest trees in their environment anywhere they are, so they're very prone to lightning strikes and thunderstorms. But they always end up surviving it. Not always, but clock in place. Alright. Sitting underneath the majesty of this tree right now is so inspiring. 450 years to us is lifetimes, but for this tree, it's just the way it is. And that's just glorious to me, that so much history can be behind this bark here. We have to take care of our trees, guys, and love them like you would anybody else. Because I love trees, sometimes more than people, but that's okay. They're here, they give us oxygen. This tree alone probably produces thousands of tons of oxygen per year. It's really a fascinating thing, you know? So guys, I found something really cool on the ground when I was walking around the tree. And it appears that I found a leaf that has fallen off the branch. Earlier in the video, I was talking about how there were no acorns to be found on this location. Well, the reason behind that is because the tree appears to actually be producing pollen this year. Now, a tree won't produce pollen and acorns in the same year because it doesn't want to pollinate its own tree. The pollen needs to reach another oak. And that way, another oak nearby will produce the acorns to provide genetic diversity in the ecosystem. Alright guys, that concludes our segment on the mighty oak tree. This has been Pondwater Pete, signing off.